When you look at the Eagles, first off, they're decimated on the back end. Blankenship, who took over for C.J. Gardner-Johnson, missed last week's game. Avonte Maddox just underwent surgery. He'll be gone for an extended period of time, or he's already on IR. Nakobe Dean has the foot surgery. He was stepping in at the linebacker position. So defensively, this team is totally different. James Bradbury dealing with concussion protocol. And then look at the way teams are playing against Jalen Hurts and Brian Johnson, who's now the offensive coordinator. The Brian Flores-led Minnesota Vikings rushed 3, dropped 8 people. You saw the sort of back and forth between A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts on the sideline, not being able to get him the football as he would have liked. But in that game, as Jalen Hurts said, DeAndre Swift rushes for 170 yards. They get over 200 yards on the ground. But this is a team that's still trying to find themselves. Sean Desai, who's taken over for Jonathan Gannon, hasn't had this defense playing the way that they played last year, where they were second to only the 1985 Bears in the way that they were able to create pressure. So this isn't the same team we watched play Kansas City in the Super Bowl. Right now, if you're looking at the first 2 games, the Dallas Cowboys are better than this team. If they can replace, or if they can supplement Trayvon Diggs correctly defensively, I still have the Dallas Cowboys coming out of the NFC East.
Well, I don't. That's for sure. I will tell you this, and
well,
I think
not
that
shocked.
we have to do is we have to take a moment, and I'm going to challenge you, RC, to give Jalen Hurts the credit you've always given him. You talked about his growth, his maturation. You talk about how he transformed himself into a bona fide, all pro caliber player.
Superstar.
You talked about all of these things, okay? So there it is. So we got 2 games into the season. We really think that Jalen Hurts is going to continue to look the way that he's looked. I'm looking at A.J. Brown. I'm looking at Devontae Smith. I'm looking at Quez Watkins. We think that they're just going to fade into the twilight. Gainwell is still at your running back spot. We think he's just going to disappear. The offensive line isn't shabby. We think they're not going to be. Dallas Goedert is still there. What do we think they're going to do? So I'm looking at the Philadelphia Eagles offensively, and if they were playing better offensively, we wouldn't be talking about them the way that we're talking about them. We know they lost both coordinators. We get all of that. The plethora of injuries that you just highlighted, we get all of that. But they're still 2-0, tied for atop the NFC East division with the Dallas Cowboys and with the Washington Commanders. And I'm just betting my money in the final days. I'm looking at a guy like Jalen Hurts, and I'm saying, why I have no reason to not believe in him. And whatever I see from him right now, I expect that things are going to get exponentially better in the weeks to come. I'm still rolling with the Eagles.
All right.
Go ahead, Molly.
No, sorry. There's a lot. We've got callers, live callers. Everyone wants to touch the hotline this morning. It's like running a telethon, so I apologize. It wasn't just deer in headlights right there. I got callers, what time they should come in. They're backed up. It's a lot right here trying to man this by myself.
I'm here for it.
Okay. But in the meantime, what would it say about the Eagles if the Cowboys still manage to win the division?
I think that it would validate. I'm sorry, RC. My bad, RC. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think what it says about the Eagles is exactly what Stephen A. was pointing to, the greatness of Jalen Hurts, where Jalen Hurts has now solidified himself to be. I don't think that this team is as dominant from top to the bottom of the roster as they were last year. And so if we are going to see them end up back in the Super Bowl, be the NFC East champs, it says that Jalen Hurts showed once again that he could take that next step. Not only be an MVP candidate or play MVP caliber ball, but be the sort of dude that elevates people around him, because I believe that this team, in order to win the NFC East, is going to have to be elevated by their extremely talented, great leader, but also young quarterback.
But that great leader, who's a great young quarterback, also has a plethora of weapons to attack a supposed weakness by the Dallas Cowboys at this particular juncture, because no matter who they put in there, it ain't going to be Trayvon Diggs. And even though Stephon Gilmore, remember, he's only given up like 5 touchdowns in the last 53 games. He just turned 33 this week. But this brother has been, even though there's been some questions as to whether or not he is what he used to be when he was a defensive MVP in 2019, the fact of the matter is just 5 touchdowns in the last 53 games shows you what he's capable of. But who are you going to get to help him? And it's real easy to get somebody to help you when you're going up against the Giants or the Jets. It's an entirely different animal when you got A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith in the Philadelphia Eagles, or Ayuk and Deebo Samuel in San Francisco. I can tell you that much.
It's only week 3, but the Kansas City Chiefs offense hasn't clicked quite yet. After a week 1 loss to the Lions, Travis Kelce returned to the lineup for week 2, where Mahomes and company got the win in Jacksonville, but struggled to move the ball. The Chiefs are averaging 18.5 points per game. That's 16 fewer than they averaged in the first 2 games of the season of the Patrick Mahomes era, with Eric Bieniemy as their offensive coordinator. RC, are the Chiefs' offensive issues something or nothing?
I think they are something. Defensively, they're really good this year, so they can take their time into getting into the flow. But this is an issue, and I think you mentioned a huge deal with Eric Bieniemy. Look at the Washington Commanders against the Denver Broncos in the second half. A team that was down 21-3. You come all the way back, put up over 30 with Sam Howell. You're pushing the football down the field. That screen game that we're so used to seeing great or be great in Kansas City is now great in Washington. Sam Howell is the guy that's fitting the football into tight spaces down the football field, daring himself to be great. And you got wide receivers making plays while having a physical run game. That's none of what Kansas City is right now. There's no continuity. There's no consistency. There's no chemistry. What it is Patrick Mahomes is better than everybody else that plays for other teams. Travis Kelce, when healthy, is better than everybody else that plays that position for other teams. And so you can see those two working together. You can see the things clicking between them. But this ain't the same Kansas City Chiefs we've gotten used to. This ain't the same Kansas City Chiefs that every time they stepped on the field, you said, I know they're going to win. I know they're going to be great because of what Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, and that defense are. Matt Nagy got to get on his stuff. Matt Nagy got to say, no, I can't just walk in here and because of what happened the last 5 years or because of what happened when I was in Chicago. This is a different team. And am I saying that these issues can't be fixed? Hell no, they got Patrick Mahomes. But I am saying this isn't the team that just gets to walk into the AFC Championship every year because their offense is that potent. And if I had to make a statement about this team right now, the defense is better than the offense. Chris Jones and that defense are carrying Patrick Mahomes and that offense. Now, if they get it going, that's a team that we can get used to seeing the same way we've always seen them. But right now, to me, that's not a guarantee.
Well, listen, first of all, I totally agree with you, and I'm glad somebody said it because I already said it. No, they ain't the same team, and I'm looking at, first of all, I'm looking at 4 people. I'm looking at Andy Reid because he no longer has Eric Bieniemy by his side like he has the previous 5 or 6 years. But I'm also looking at Kadarius Toney, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, and Sky Moore. And if you want me to believe that the Kansas City Chiefs have a snowball's chance in hell of being what we've come to expect them to be, then tell me those 3 receivers are going to do the job. Tell me you're willing to bet your money that Valdez-Scantling, Toney, and Sky Moore, tell me you're willing to bet your money that they're going to deliver the goods in a way similar to once Tyreek Hill once did. McCole Hardman was helping him out. He once did, along with the others. Juju Smith-Schuster was there last year. Tell me they're going to do what those brothers did, because if I'm in opposition, I'm keying in on Travis Kelce. And I'm daring Kansas City to beat me with those wideouts. That's what I'm doing.